Chapter 5. Adverb Time Clauses. Before we start this chapter, let's go over some big questions. What is an adverb? What is a clause? What is an adverb clause? And then we are going to focus on subordinate adverbial clauses of time. Let's see each one of these questions. An adverb is a word that can modify a verb, an adjective, another verb, a phrase, or a clause. An adverb indicates manner, time, place, cause, or degree, and answers questions such as how, when, where, how much. So here you have some examples of adverbs. Words like afterwards, before, or if you're telling the degree, barely, almost. Manner, you have just, well, quite, and so on. Unlike an adjective, an adverb can be found in various places within the sentence. So let's analyze some sentences and find adverbs. Identify the adverbs and state what they modify. Sentence 1. The seamstress quickly made the morning clothes. In this sentence, the adverb quickly modifies the verb made and indicates in what manner or how fast the clothing was constructed. Number 2. The midwives waited patiently through a long labor. Similarly, in this sentence, the adverb patiently modifies the verb waited and describes the manner in which the midwives waited. Number 3. The boldly spoken words would return to haunt the rebel. In this case, the adverb boldly modifies the adjective spoken. Number 4. We urged him to dial the number more expeditiously. Here, the adverb more modifies the adverb expeditiously. Number 5. Unfortunately, the bank closed at 3 today. In this example, the adverb unfortunately modifies the entire sentence. So the next big question we have is, what is a clause? Clauses come in 4 types: main or independent, subordinate or dependent, adjective or relative, and noun. Every clause has at least a subject and a verb. What is an adverb clause? An adverb clause will meet 3 requirements. First, it will contain a subject and a verb, and you'll find a subordinate conjunction that keeps the clause from expressing a complete thought. Examples of subordinate conjunctions: after, before, until, while, because, since, as, so that, etc. Finally, you will notice that the clause answers one of these 3 adverb questions: how, when, where, or why. Adverbs, adverb phrases, and adverb clauses. Look at these sentences. I saw the movie yesterday. Here you have an adverb. Adverb of time. I saw the movie on Friday. Here you have an adverb phrase. I saw the movie before I left for Calgary. Here you have an adverb clause. And why? Because you have a subject, you have a verb. Here you don't have a verb or a subject. You have a subject and a verb. And this word here that will show that this is an incomplete thought. There are many types of adverb clauses. Here are some examples of the most common types: place, time, cause, purpose, concession, condition. Today we're going to focus on adverbs of time, and they generally answer the question, when. Adverb clause of time. These clauses are used to say when something happens by referring to a period of time or to another event. These are the words that could start an adverb clause of time. We need to be careful when we teach adverb clauses because they are bound to tenses. So if you have an adverb clause or a dependent clause in the present, your main clause or independent clause should be in the future. Let's go over this chart. Past perfect, then your main clause should be in the past. Future, then your main clause should be in the present. Past, Then your main clause should be in the past progressive. Past, past. Past could also be a past perfect. Present, present. Keep this chart in mind and show this chart to your students. Let's see some examples. After he finishes homework, he will go fishing with his friends. So let's analyze this. Here you have two clauses. He will go fishing with his friends. It's what we call the main clause, okay? Because this is a complete thought. I could just say he will go fishing with his friends. But here, this clause is incomplete, so we called it a subordinate clause. In this case, it's an adverb clause of time because it answers the question when, after he finishes homework. I will leave the house, this is the main clause, a complete thought, before the rain starts. Before the rain starts would be our adverb clause of time because it indicates when, and you have a subject, you have a verb, and you also have this word here that shows that only this chunk is incomplete, so it depends on the main clause. When I arrived, he was talking on the phone. When I see him tomorrow, I will invite him to go rollerblading. I also want to call your attention to the verb tenses that are used. So if you go back to our chart, you will see that depending on what I use in my main clause, I automatically have to use a certain tense in my subordinate clause. Let's see some adverb clauses in the past progressive. While I was walking home, it began to rain. As I was walking home, it began to rain. By the time he arrived, we had already left. By the time he comes, we will have already left. Let's see some more examples. I haven't seen him since he left this morning. I've known her ever since I was a child. We stayed there until we finished our lesson. We stayed there till we finished our lesson. As soon as it starts raining, we will leave. Once I have a chance, I will throw you a nice ball. I will never speak to him as long as I live. I will never speak to him so long as I live. Whenever I see her, I say hello. Every time I see her, I say hello. Let's see some adverb clauses using the first time, the second time. The first time I went to New York, I went to an opera. I saw two plays the last time I went to New York. The next time I go to New York, I'm going to see a ballet. Again, when you teach adverb time clauses, make sure you present this chart to your students. They need to understand that depending on what they use on the main clause, there is a certain tense that they need to use in the subordinate clause. And that's the end of chapter 5.